Rhys, a really frustrating afternoon here at Batley, and we're effectively out of the Challenge Cup 1895 Cup as well now. Does that give you time to consolidate and look and focus at the league?
Yeah, no doubt. It certainly, having this week off certainly gives me an opportunity to review what's gone on before it. I think it's since it's been the games becoming thick and fast, and obviously with such a turnover of players at times, and having late and finding out so late in the week who's going to be fit, who's going to be available. Just it's been fairly challenging to try and get to work out where we're going and what we're doing and how to get those improvements. So no, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that opportunity there. To have a little bit mini review of the season so far. So I'm looking forward to that part of it. Yeah.
I know you're a very analytical guy, and your spreadsheets are quite large. Does that give you this week off that we have now got coming up before Whitehaven in 2 weeks' time? Does that give you a chance to really dig into that data and look at what's been working and who's been performing and in where? You mentioned there's been a big shake-up in positions. I think it's very rare we've been able to put the same 17 out on the field. Are you relishing that time to go through that?
Yeah, definitely. I'm certainly, there's probably two parts, and I just spoke to the players a little bit about this in probably a slightly different tone, but the ability to review individual performances within the system. System works. It's been proved. We've had some good performances against teams when the players have executed it. Today's a good example. Last week, obviously, they decided to do whatever it is they wanted to do, and you get the performance that they got. This week, they decided to do what they want to do for 68 minutes, and they get the result they got. So I know now that the system works. I also now know that certain players can't execute it. So I just need to have a look at why that is. Is it a coaching point? Is it technical ability? And have a look at that and put plans in place to get those players up to speed. No doubt. And obviously, probably the easier win there is obviously having people coming back, sort of down to our last 18, 19 players available for selection this week. So no, I'm looking forward to hopefully in the future having the ability to have competition for places. But yeah, no doubt it just gives us an opportunity to review all that and see how we go.
And you can't underestimate how important it is to have competition for places there. What does that do to a team?
Well, not only that, it gives the opportunity to get players better at what they're not good at. I think when they're playing every week, not only are the performances not up to standard on some of the performances, or lack of consistency is probably a better indication for that, but it also means that we just can't get the time into get them better as they're playing, which means you lose the Monday because they've played, and you lose the Friday because they're playing. So realistically, you only get the Wednesday to really load up. But when they're not in the team, you've got 3 days. So certainly from a coach's point of view, that's my default setting, is to teach people and to make people better at rugby league, and that's how it looks for me. You just lose that little bit of time. You lose that bit of time again. Probably things have been a little bit difficult for us, is obviously we've had coaches training, and I played fullback at training this week. Obviously Jake's injured, so he's managed to. Even the coaching staff's injured, so Jake's obviously injured there, so he's been the referee. But obviously Geordie Hedges and Jaimel Coleman have all been training as well. So again, it just adds up. Sort of been all hands on deck in the last couple of weeks. But on the flip side, I just want to add, I'm not taking away anything from Batley. I thought they were brilliant today. I thought Batley were absolutely outstanding. They kept it super simple. They moved the ball well. They took their opportunities when they got them, and we just felt the need just to give them plenty of those opportunities.
Just going back to today, there was quite a lot of uncharacteristic mistakes today. You mentioned that first sort of 60-odd minutes where it looked very un-Keighley compared to what we've seen the rest of the year. But then they sort of lit up the last 10, 15 minutes and looked a little bit more like they were hungry enough to get the game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I think it's something we spoke about being brave. Like, I understand some of the guys are playing out of position. I understand that this might not be the strongest roster we could possibly put on, but that's never been something that we've worried about. We've always just competed, and we've always just been brave. And there's been games this year we've been in a similar position, but we've just been brave and just battled through it. And we just didn't do that today. I mean, every time we dropped the ball, we seem to let us affect us, and then it spread into our D, and that's just never been the case. Like Bradford's a great example. I think we dropped more ball against Bradford than we did today. Yet we smoked Bradford because we didn't allow it to affect our mindset defensively. But what seems to have happened in the last 2 weeks, we've allowed the offensive energy to bleed into our defence, and then it's just started pulling apart our D. And that's the thing I'm the most disappointed about. Is that it's very easy to isolate, very easy to separate. It's just a pure choice on the players' part to allow that to happen, and that's the bit that I'm probably the most frustrated about.
The week off, as we said, the week off gives you a chance to look at that in detail and get that right for Whitehaven away. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Do you mean it gives me a long form opportunity to really pull this apart and dig into sort of why things are happening, and well, probably just to proof check things more realistically. I know why things are happening, but it gives me an opportunity just to double check, speak to the staff, have a look at them. Do you mean speak to medical? Review what we've been doing so far, because it's been a really interesting juggling act so far, trying to get the team good enough to play championship, because it is a huge step up for the group and for the players to get them good enough, but also manage the load and the time that's required to get them good enough, because otherwise they're getting injured. So it's really quite an interesting balance. Certainly something we never had to worry about last year. Last year was quite simple last year, but yeah, a lot more footy this year, and a lot more footy to go.
Rhys, we look forward to it. See you in a couple of weeks.
Cheers, thank you.